Your brain is literally made from what you eat. Are you feeding it with garbage? It's Mental Health Month, and it's your hemophilia advocate and a peer counselor. Today, I'm joined with
Lauren Bright from Healthy Crumb.
Perfect. Let's kick in and let me show you how what you eat usually brings you peace or not. So Lauren, pleasure to have you. Life in campus is usually easy and someone can just acknowledge on how what they eat and on how what life gets them through. So what can you say about mental health, starting from the signs and the symptoms when someone gets in a class and moving forward?
First of all, I'd like to say that nutrition and mental health are very much related because what you eat affects how you behave,
Sure.
how you talk, and the kind of emotions that you're going to express.
Yeah.
For example, as a student, we need specific kinds of foods that are going to enable us to have optimal performance, especially in classes and in whatever else that we have involved ourselves in. And if you really have to have that sharp mind and concentrate optimally, we need to, for example, feed on omega-3 fatty foods, such that they enable us, they promote the brain health, and it's very important. So you see, if for example you have a deficiency of the omega-3 fatty acids, there's tendency of you having not that the brain will not have cognitively developed, and with time there is tendency of you not being able to really focus. If you're supposed to be quiet, there's tendency of you're always making noise or just something unusual of what is expected.
Great. So you just know what you eat, even if it's omega-3. And you've mentioned optimal performance. That I concur with. And some of us don't eat well when it comes to now saying that they're in campus and even saying that they can't afford the life in campus. What does it mean that in a context of optimal performance in those that come from a family that is low and others that have come from a family that's big?
Okay, first of all, we can ensure that you are feeding properly, even on a budget. For instance, even if at least you even have 50 shillings at most, and that is what you have been allocated for lunch, there is how you can divide that 50 shillings and have a very nutritious meal instead of just having just so much amount of food. Because you see, what really is pressuring people is the amount of food and the how pricey it is, how expensive it is. But in real sense, you can have 50 shillings and get quality and enough food. Because for instance, 50 shillings you can choose to buy, or you can just have a snack. If for example you're really not meant to eat food, you can just have a snack. For example, you can have groundnuts I think are 10 shillings or yes. So you'll find that you having that I don't know how they measure, but that amount of groundnuts is very important in terms of nutrients density, because we are not just focusing on the amount of food that we are really eating. We also need to ensure that we are feeding on nutrient dense rich foods that will help us to grow, not just physically but also emotionally and psychologically, because being healthy is not just a state of physical, mental, or it's just that state of that whole self being upright and without any, not just merely a disease. No, you just don't have to have a disease so that you can be unhealthy. It comes from whatever it is that you eat and how it has affected you. From that 50 shillings, okay, many students tend to misuse money. And if you really have a lot of money, you'll find yourself spending so much on irrelevant things, calling them lunch. you know.
Yeah.
Because
Junk.
for instance, you can feed on junk
Yeah.
and just head to class like just comfortably. Someone can just grab crisps and maybe soda, and that's lunch. You see, that's okay. Currently, I've just realized that crisps are just so much expensive. Like you find it's just a small amount of money, but it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So at most, even just 70 shillings just for crisps, and then you have soda, carbonated soda, that goes for around 90 shillings. You see, that's already 120 shillings or more, and even more. And you'll find that you, the person that has consumed that amount of money, that amount of food, they'll call food, but it's just something that is not for, it is not meant to make them full. It is just a matter of short time, to hold them for just a short time, and then after some time, maybe even after class, they'll be talking of how they really want to eat food because they are still hungry. But someone who just fed on high fiber foods and nutritious foods, for example baby fruits, that person will have a tendency of like feeling full for a long period of time.
Perfect. So she just, in campus you can eat anything. It just needs plan and budget your money well. You've mentioned something that I can say from my perspective. I went through budgeting. I went through just buying things so that I feel at least I've eaten something. But as from that perspective, I can now say that as long as you have a certain amount, you can plan yourself and eat a balanced diet. And it usually said, eat a rainbow-like meal so that you can integrate a certain type of, even let's say, a lot of different meals in the same plate. So Shujas, let me take Lauren here to at least shed a light on about its mental health month. As a peer counselor, what can you tell others who are living in campus about bettering their mental health on the perspective of reading, on the perspective of even exercising?
First, it is really okay to not be okay, and how we address us not being okay is what really matters. Because if you choose to suppress, it will eventually eat you up. But if you choose to express, you'll be helped. So it's until you speak out that you are going to be helped. People tend to feel like it's just people just carry things or how they feel as just something normal, but to extremities. With time, you'll find that whatever you think that has become normal becomes just like a routine in you. It becomes something that is really eating you up. It's making you not concentrate maybe in class. It's making you not have optimal performance in whatever it is that you involve yourself in. And you'll find that with time, it will drain you. And unless the people that are really close to you actually really are able to understand you and to see that you have an altered function in you, and it's not just because of your will, and it's not just a disease, but it's because you feel like you're suppressing something, and you really need that 1-2 persons to talk to and express how you really feel. So it's very important, especially as students. We go through a lot, and it's very important that we have that one person, that 2 persons close to you, that you feel like you can express, you can tell them how you feel about today. Because nowadays life is not easy. You find, like, for example, if you had just woken up in the morning, and then you just receive a call from maybe home, and they tell you that something has happened, maybe to your guardians or just anyone, you find that however much you really have to come to class by 8, you'll have that, it's like sluggishness. It's like a feeling of you're so down, but at the same time you need to run for your future, but you cannot just chase the books, you cannot just chase your dreams if you really feel that you're not okay. it's until you have to express it to someone and tell them that this and this happened this morning. Maybe if you are late, you can explain as to why you were late, and they'll understand. They'll definitely understand. But if you choose to maybe like go silent on it, maybe for example, if a lecturer finds you come to class while late, but you know you have a very genuine reason, but you do not express or just meet him or her and at a personal level and explain it to them why it is that you are really late, they'll chase you back and you'll feel okay, whatever you were feeling before is going to be even worse, you know.
All right.
Yeah,
Perfect. So Shujaa, campus life is easy, but how you talk to the people that you connect, I must say that reach out to a gene environment, connect with people that even acknowledge you and even improve your life. That leads us to small habits. You mentioned small habits. If a person says, or if a student says that he or she is okay, what is behind that? Is it stress management? Is it stress coping it? Is it anxiety, or is it depression? Can you at least illustrate to us on how just saying I'm okay can it or can even be a caution to us?
well, very many at the times that we, especially if you're having friends, and with time or over time, you've seen that the way you're close, there are happy moments, there are sad moments, and even in those sad moments, they get to express how they really feel. But this time around, after some time of us knowing each other, and I come to you or you come to me and you start acting weird or different, I'll definitely know that something is wrong.
Sure.
But I'll just ask you, are you okay? And then you just reply that you're okay. Maybe because you really don't want to talk about whatever it is that is bugging you. And you, okay, for a start, you'll be like, okay, it's like nagging someone, because I'll be like, what is wrong? Why are you not telling me? You know, because I'm so concerned, and your mental health really matters to me. Your health really matters to me. How you feel really matters to me. And if you really feel like you're really not okay, I need at least a guide or just something so that I can know that whatever is disturbing you, and we can really find a solution to it eventually. And with time, you'll grow out of it, because it's like a stagnation. Because feeling not okay, it's like a state of stagnation, because you, in very many instances, you don't feel like doing anything. You just feel like sleeping. You just feel like, you know, isolating yourself. But once you grow out of it, you find that it was just something that is just normal, and it is okay. And it's just until you had to figure out who exactly you're going to talk to. And with time, you learn from it, and you know how to manage it and prevent it from happening again, and prevent it from occurring again, because we are all prone to these things. But the technique that we use to come out of it successfully is what really matters. That there's tendency of the signs that maybe you can have for people that maybe are dealing with stress, anxiety, and depression, as are like maybe someone that was really into people, close to people, all of a sudden just starts isolating themselves. Maybe if it was a meeting or just a club, they agree on this specific day that they're supposed to meet, but this guy or this girl all of a sudden stops showing up, you know. It will raise an alarm. And I actually usually advise that if you find someone that you used to maybe work with or school with, or even study with, no longer comes around, no longer avails themselves, it's not just something to just keep quiet about. It's something for you. It's up to you, if you really are caring, to figure it out. call them, text them, ask them how they're doing, ensure that, like, know about their day-to-day activities, know whether they're still studying or just doing something different, because it's really important. So if that person was supposed to attend a meeting and they didn't attend, it's up to maybe the leaders or the people that he or she was close with to follow up and find out why exactly is it that he or she missed the meeting. And if it's something that is going to be talked about, they can talk about they can create time and talk about it, so that eventually, if it is something that was very persistent, they can outgrow and learn from it and seek advice, and eventually they'll be able to conquer everything it is that is bugging them.
Great. So life in campus is easy. A call away can save your classmate. So take care of your classmate and know the people that you surround yourself with. You mentioned nutrition. How can nutrition aid in stress, and how can it develop stress?
How nutrition can develop stress or abnormal feelings, like altered feelings, like maybe you're not feeling yourself, or you feel moody, sad, unexpectedly, is, for instance, if you had, for example, a class in the morning, very early in the morning, from around 8 or even 7, you find whatever it is that you consumed that morning before you came to that class, or whatever it is that you consumed the previous night, really matters. Because, for instance, if you did not eat anything that evening and still woke up to an empty stomach and left for class on an empty stomach without having taken breakfast, and you expect to concentrate in class, that's okay. Like, there'll be alteration, because your body needs a fuel, and the only fuel that the body usually utilizes is glucose, and that glucose is gotten from the food that you eat. So the energy is gotten from the food that we eat. So it's very important to consume on a high dense rich food, maintaining all the nutrients, whether macro or micro. We have macronutrients and micronutrients, and from it all, the body is able to run effectively. If it's supposed to make you concentrate in class, it will. If it's supposed to make you have physical activity, it will.
All right.
And eventually, you find that the food that you really eat will affect you and your studies, and eventually your state of mind. Because if you're really not feeding on a nutritious diet, you'll find that there's mood swings. For instance, for example, if you're supposed to be happy, maybe someone has made a joke, you find it not funny, because, like, whatever you have consumed or whatever you have been consuming over time has affected you, and you're not really people tend to not really be aware of it until they do it over and over again, until it becomes a disorder in them. Because there are people who tend to overeat so much when they're stressed, or there are people who tend to not eat at all when they're stressed. So, like, we really need to address those issues rightfully, how they're supposed to be addressed, because each and every person needs that wholeness in themselves, that state of health, not just mental or physical or emotional, just optimal health. And it's very important to always address it, because it is all based on nutrition, how you carry yourself, whatever you're going to eat, and it is in what amounts and at what time. Because that is also a very key point, because you need to consider the portion sizes of your food in your plate. Tend to feed on half vegetables, maybe, and fruits, and the last 2 quarters you can have carbs and proteins, because vegetables and fruits are very, very important, especially for fiber, since they are rich in fiber and they help you feel a tendency of fullness throughout the day. If, for example, you feed on just vegetables. You don't even really have to feed on so much carbohydrates to be energetic. You can have that vegetable plate, fruit plate, and trust me, you'll feel the same effective way as much as you would if you had taken a carbohydrate plate.
Perfect. Know your worth. You mentioned macro and micro. Don't understand. What is micro and what is macro?
Okay, macronutrient rich foods are carbohydrates. Examples are carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. And we have micronutrients. Micronutrients are vitamins and mineral salts. So like your foods or your plate, at least for it to be balanced, you need to ensure that you're feeding on a carbohydrate meal, a protein meal, and a lipid meal.
Right.
And vegetable, and mineral salts and vitamins. We get mostly the vitamins from vegetables. So like you have to include vegetables, proteins, and carbohydrates. I've mentioned earlier how you're supposed to divide your plates into portions so that you can have optimal growth and survival. So like all are very important. To extremities, people tend to misuse minerals or even vitamins. For example, the people that I usually see working out or on gyms and eating out, they'll tend to maybe, for example, consume supplements, but they really don't. They consume supplements that they have just taken for themselves. They feel like maybe because someone else is taking and they're working out, I can also take it because it's going to help me maybe in building, But eventually, it is until you go and visit a consultant or a health practitioner that you're going to be informed on the kind of supplements, because supplements are just to supplement what you really need. If you do not have this, you're told to consume on this, it will replace or it will serve the same function as that from maybe a meal or just something. So if you find yourself consuming a supplement that you do not even get prescribed by the doctor, or you just prescribe for your own self, you see, eventually, if you already had that, you already had that, whatever it is that you're supplementing, if it is a disease, if you're supplementing for vitamin maybe E, and you already have enough vitamin E from the diet sources that you're eating from, you see, eventually it will become a toxicity. And toxicities are very, very so bad. The same way we have deficiencies, you can be suffering from a deficiency of vitamin E, and at the same time you can have a toxicity of vitamin E because maybe you're consuming too much, such that it accumulates in the body and it just becomes waste. You'll find yourself spending so much money on things that you already own in your body, but it's until you visited someone, a doctor, and told you that you have a deficiency of this and you can supplement it with this, which is okay. That is where people tend to misuse the minerals and vitamins. But we really need to seek help so that you can know what exactly it is that you are lacking and what exactly it is that is in enough amount to prevent toxicities.
Know what you eat and know the type of meal that you put in your body. If you've reached here, I appreciate. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on how building yourself and creating your cognitive health will empower you. Let's dive into anxiety. What is anxiety from your perspective, from a peer counselor perspective, and touch about depression.
So I was saying that anxiety is, according to me, is that state of mind where you feel like you're really not yourself. For example, if I'd use this example, if you have an exam that is due, maybe the following day, this previous day, you need to exclusively revise, at least for that paper, so that you can nail it and do your best. So you'll find, however much you really had enough time to read, when you get to that exam room, you still feel like there is something that you haven't exhausted. There is something, there's a part that you haven't touched,
Yeah.
And with time, especially once the papers start getting in, there is a tendency of feeling anxious, like a feeling that you really can't explain. Of it's like
you're
fear.
scared.
Yeah, it's like you're scared. Because tell me why you studied the whole day, the previous day, you still woke up very early and studied, and still had enough time to study before the exams come, and you still feel anxious. So I feel like that's just a state of anxiety, and we really need to at least control how we really feel, especially when anxious. You can just, for example, if you're having a paper that is due, you can, when they just get there, to prevent that, because there are people who get anxious and they literally forget everything that they have studied. So you'll find at the end of the semester, their report card is going to just be quite opposite of what they had worked for, because whatever it is that they had read, because of anxiety, it all became futile. Like it's like, I wouldn't say evaporate, but it's just past their mind, that they couldn't even be able to remember some small details that they really read. So to prevent all this, a few minutes before, maybe writing or opening the page or just doing anything when the paper is there, you can take deep breaths, like for a minute, Having those deep breaths can really help, and it is very important so that you can have that composure, that state of mind of sobriety, and tackle it, however it may come. Because trust me, however much the exam may tend to be, as long as you read, you'll not lack something to write. You'll just find a way of manipulating words, trying to fix words, trying to use what it is that you learned to understand that question and write it according to how it can be related. And with time, you'll pass. So we really need to know how you're going to manage this, the anxiety feeling, and it's like completely repel from it, because it can really destroy someone's. If it was an interview, you'd have failed because you were maybe anxious, you were afraid, you felt like you didn't feel like talking everything about yourself. You're told to explain yourself, but you just mentioned a few things because of fear, because of stage fright, such kind of things. So it's very important to develop your own individual techniques that are going to help you work it out, so that you can nail everything that you do.
Great. Since you've mentioned having techniques, I use the SWOT analysis. Be self-aware, and S goes for me. I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, and I know the opportunities that I have in Mount Kenya University to at least unlock that self-infinite possibility. I know the time bound, and I know the threats. So take an environment and develop strategies to unlock that self-infinite possibility. That leads us to nutrition and wellness. I know we've tackled nutrition and we've mentioned something about nutrition. What can people in campus incorporate when it comes to nutrition, whether in class, whether in outside, and touch a life outside Mount Kenya University? What can you say about wellness and nutrition?
Well, I will say that nutrition is the way we say that the cell is the basic unit function of a body. I feel like nutrition, I can relate it to that, because if you do not eat, we'll die eventually, And we need to nourish our lives, our bodies, with the appropriate nutrients, so that you can ensure the optimal performance and longevity in life. Longevity in life. And minding what you really eat is very important, because that is where we mostly tend to go wrong, especially in the modernized society right now. You find people consuming noodles each and every day.
Yeah.
Breakfast, breakfast, maybe lunch, supper, you're still consuming just noodles.
Yeah.
But to greater extent, you really feel if you with time you'll find out that it is of no nutritional benefit. It's just calories that you really add into your body for you to become just big, Yeah. But in real sense, if you really nourish your body with the right nutrients, you'll have that wholeness in you. You'll be physically fit, you'll be mentally fit, emotionally fit. General well-being is going to be fine. So minding what you eat is very important, because I feel like that's where most of us are being astray. You can also have alternatives. If, for example, today you consume dietary for lunch, for supper you can have maybe rice or meat and maybe greens or even cabbage. That's okay. Or even if, because I remember used to, especially our high school, used to put dietary every lunchtime. Can you imagine? Every lunchtime. Even on Sundays, every lunchtime. So, but in the evening, on Tuesdays and Fridays, we had garlic, meat, cabbage. On Wednesday and the rest of the days, it was rice and beans and cabbage. So we had alternatives. If you're not having this, if it's not beans, you can have lentils. If it's not lentils, you can have lentil. If it's not lentil, you can have black beans. That's a bit alternate food. So that it can also not become boring, because I know eating a balanced diet is so very boring. But we need to develop mechanisms of making it fun. If it's fruits, if it's vegetables, especially children, they really don't love consuming vegetables. They just want the sweet thing. They feel like vegetables are not sweet. So to make it sweet, you can have the way you say it, make your plate colorful. If it's vegetables, you can have cabbage green. You can fix it with carrots that are orange. You can have tomatoes that are red. That's color. That's those brilliant colors. Brilliant colors in the eyes.